Maiden speech, Luke Akehurst.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, for calling me to make my maiden speech. I congratulate the Honourable Member for Harpenden and Berkhamsted on a fine speech, a very impressive description of her constituency and of her motivations for coming to this place. It has taken me some time to get elected to the House. I first stood in a general election back in 2001, so no one can accuse me of being a young man in a rush, and I'm humbled to finally be here. I've done some other things in party politics along the way. I would like to pay tribute to my late mum and dad, who inspired me to get involved in politics, and they gave me my Labour values, and I'm sorry that they just missed out on the chance to see me get here. I'd also like to thank my family for their huge support, including lots of campaigning and lots of patience, as my speech has come rather late in this debate. I want to thank the electors of North Durham for voting for me to represent them in this House. I promise I will always fight for their interests and would not want to represent a finer constituency. I follow into the House the Right Honourable Kevin Jones. He is an extremely tough act to follow, and I wish him well both in overcoming his health troubles and in his new role elevated to the other place. Kevin was elected MP for North Durham in 2001 and served the constituency and this House with distinction for 23 years. He was utterly committed to the defence and security of our country, serving as a MOD minister, multiple stints on the Defence Committee, the longest-serving member of the Intelligence and Security Committee, a Vice-President of the NATO Parliamentary Assembly, and a Commissioner of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. This is highly appropriate given the number of veterans that we have in the North Durham constituency, particularly people associated with the DLI, the Durham Light Infantry. I'm sure that in the other place, Kevin will continue to work on defence and other issues, such as the Sub-Postmasters Campaign for Justice. His continued work on the Horizon Redress Advisory Board will be a reassurance to victims. Kevin will continue to pursue an outcome for sub-postmasters who used the capture software in the 1990s. This is currently the subject of an independent investigation which was commissioned by the government earlier this year. Many honourable members will know that Kevin is a keen photographer, often capturing and sharing the beauty of North Durham. Countless voters and local organisations have told me how much they have been helped by Kevin. He is held in high regard not just across this House, but across North Durham. I've been elected in a long line of Labour members, all, as far as I can discern, from the same moderate tradition in the party that I stand in, and including distinguished frontbenchers such as Giles Radici and Jack Lawson, who served as Atlas Secretary of State for War in the closing days of World War II. The Chesterley Street part of my constituency has a unique distinction in the history of the Labour Party, having returned a Labour member to the House continuously since 1906, so no pressure on me to keep winning there at all. However, this long Labour history does not mean North Durham is a safe seat. In every characteristic other than never having been lost, it is a red wall seat and has been electorally competitive in the last two contests. Indeed, this most recent election campaign was rather livelier than I would have preferred. Chesterley Street is only one part of North Durham on its current boundaries, though, the other major town being Stanley. The constituency is rural, surprisingly so. Aside from the two main towns, there are numerous villages, and I may get into trouble for not listing some of them, but I'm going to try to list the major ones: Sacriston, Tantoby, Tanfield, Beamish, Burnmore, Lumley, Pelton, Pelton Fell, Craghead, Euston, Lanchester, Burnhope, Castleside and Anfield Plain are just some of them. At this point, I wish to thank the Right Honourable Member for Basildon and Billericay. Lanchester, Burnhope and Castleside were previously represented by him in North West Durham in the last Parliament. He has been most courteous and helpful in handing over responsibility for these fine communities. I would urge honourable members to visit North Durham. As well as fine towns and villages, it has stunning countryside and attractions including Beamish, the world-famous open-air museum which brings the history of North East England to life, and Durham County Cricket Club's Riverside Ground. Kevin always described North Durham as a rural constituency with urban problems, and this remains the case. Mining is at the heart of the history and previous economy of North Durham. Almost every village has a pit wheel memorial. Many of them have memorials also to terrible mining disasters, and many have lodge banners that are paraded at the Durham Gala. The decline of the industry, which went over many decades, and its eventual destruction in the 1980s, along with the closure of other major local employers, have left terrible economic and social scars and a sense that some communities in the constituency have been left behind. Levelling up, if it reached anywhere, did not reach the proud communities that elected me. That brings me to the local importance of the topic of today's debate: economy, welfare and public services. North Durham needs economic stability and growth. It is a travesty that there are so many families dependent on food banks. It needs new, skilled and well-paid jobs in the industries of the future. It needs investment and procurement decisions by the government to be targeted at creating jobs where they are most needed. North Durham needs a fairer distribution of public spending. Changes to the local government funding formula over the last 14 years have been unfair and removed resources from authorities such as Durham County Council dealing with the highest levels of deprivation and hampered their ability to deliver effective local services. That urgently needs to be changed in the next local government funding settlement. Capital spending on public services is also urgently needed. On Friday, I visited Sacriston Academy, a primary school. I was horrified to find excellent teachers delivering high-quality education, but in a setting that was literally falling down, with ceilings held up by scaffolding joists and whole classrooms built in 1910. Indeed, famous former pupils of the school include Bobby Robson, unusable due to water penetration through the ceilings and walls. Local children deserve so much better. Public transport in the constituency is not fit for purpose. We need more frequent and reliable buses and more trains stopping at Chesterley Street. And we need the economic regeneration of local town centres. The once thriving front streets of Chesterley Street and Stanley are run down and need new life. I thank the House for listening to me today, and I look forward to contributing to debates here and fighting tenaciously for the cause of North Durham and its people and the wider North East. Yeah.